Okay, so I'm using my Raspberry Pi today to do recording, and actually it's pretty damn brilliant. It's much better than my old Xeon machine. What I want to show you is what I've been doing with the Zoom G1XFour and some Python and some look on the web. So it's a combination of the USB scraping I showed you already and looking on the web. And the first thing we do is on a standard Pi, this is a Pi4, but it should work on older Pis. If we do amidi -L, we'll see that it thinks I have a ZoomG on hardware 1.0. And if we look at some of these scripts, for example, if we edit editor on, then you see, unfortunately, I've used that because at one point it was 2.0. So if I replace that to 1, that now matches what I had there. And now I just run the screen editor on, and it should have turned it on, and you see data has come back here. Okay, so now if we look at some of these other things, I could use a seg command, but let's use fx ASCII1. So we'll just edit that file because we have to change this to 2. I'll put this into Python in the end. I was just using, just to show that, if you remember before, what I was doing on Windows was using MIDI. I was using Wireshark to capture, and I can use Wireshark on here, but the USB Mon's not so good. Then I was looking at the MIDI aux to get strings and data. So now what we do is we make use of standard software that you can load on your Pi quite easily. So this is the shell or bash. We tell it what the MIDI device is. We've shown you here how you find that. And then these are strings that I've worked out. And here you see the $val is being turned into hex here, the %02x. And it's the input value plus 2. So what this means is that if you want to do this by hand, you'd send F0520 which is the device ID for a Zoom G1XFour, 64 for the command, and then whatever the FX you want plus 2 as a hex string. So now if we escape this and we /fx01 ASCII shell 0, it should tell me what's on the 0. And this is the kinky thing, because you see, this is the standard string, which is you'll always see this like rand. You can ignore that. That just tells me that it's the standard device coming back from a Zoom. And then it says 1 is on off. And if I actually go, you can't see this, I'm going to work on getting some additional capabilities now that this thing is working. So if I go through the pedal, I'm just moving the pedal to number 1, and I go into the insert mode, I can see I have TS drive on effect 1, and it's on. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch that effect off, which I think I do like that. And I can see that it says my gain is at 69, my boost is off, my tone is 57, and my volume is 89. Well, look, 69 gain off for boost. So it puts it in ASCII. I've turned it off on the front panel. Let me run it again. And now you see it's a 0 for off. I don't know why. Sometimes it suddenly returns a lot more data, and I'm not totally certain why that is, yeah. But I guess I'm looking for this 6064 part when I come to parse it. So it looks like it's possible to get the data. Now, of course, if we say number 1, and I'll change these datas in a minute, then it says there's nothing there. If we say number 2, then we get this date back. Now, sometimes we get this, so then we need to turn the editor back on again. So let's see if that makes any difference. No, of course I'm being an idiot. If we look at FX01 ASCII, what we see is that this is hard-coded to the 64. So let's look at some other things that we found we can do. Current patch, for example. So /current patch. Oh, of course, yeah. I have to edit vim current patch. Now you won't have to do this. It really depends on how much your device moves. In my case, yesterday it was on hardware 2. I plugged something else in, now it's moved. So now we can run this current patch, and this should tell me the command will set it. And so the current patch is Octave Solo. If I come out of here, I am indeed on Octave Solo. So let me move to my favorite, number 33, one of my favorites, the Lush. Hang on, I can't get this pedal to work here. Let's push them together. I'm in that mode where I have to push them both together. They are Lush Acoustics. So now if I run this, what do I get back? lush acoustic, yeah. So now it's reading what the pedal's saying. So the sort of things that I found out is how to get the current effect. If we look at get all patch zooms rather, so get all patch zoom GX. If I vim get patch, what we're doing, make that a 10, is we're iterating across. There's 50 patches in total, so we're sending this input value $1. Actually, that should be 02 hex. We're turning it into a hex, and we're sending this 6E46.000 value 0F. And now when we run the getter patch, get all, and we have a look in the directory, you'll see that it's just green or shell scripts. If you run get all patches, now what it will do is it will work through and it should find the patches that are on the Zeppelin, Dreambox drive, Skater drive, blah, blah, blah. So it's just walking through and saying to the device, hey, what you got there, mate? And it's coming back with the information of what's in the slots, yeah? Now, whilst it's doing that, some of this I found out for myself by playing. Others, there's a really good guy here, sixeight, I think his name is. Let's give him the right credit. 68, 86, 68, there we are. And so he's been looking at this some time ago and managed to find some pretty cool stuff. So here his device is different because it's a G3, which is 5A, ours was 6E. What I don't understand, I need to see if I can get hold of this guy, is what he's doing is pulling down information and messing with it. It doesn't look like he's quite, I mean, this doesn't work for me to turn effect on. Of course, that would be 6E. This string doesn't work at the moment for me. But what he doesn't seem to have found is something which I've found, and I need to check with him in case he's already found it and that it's finished. Okay. So for example, here we've got like effect. So what I did was let's look at one of them, for example, like effect 01 parameter 2.shell. So the magic is that, and let's vim that. So we want to say this is hardware 1.0 today, and I'll make an external variable. This will go into Python in the end. So here you see we're reading a value, and we turn it into a low-high because we allow ourselves to put big numbers in, and then we basically send 640303, and what it boils down to is that whatever your patch, so whatever your parameter is, you add 3 onto it. So or 2, depending on where you look at it. If we name the parameters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then you add 2, and the first one becomes 3, the second is 4, 5, etc. And here you would put this as 0, 0 for the first FX, 0, 1 for the second, 0, 2 for the third, that sort of thing. So if we modify that, and I go into the, I'll work out to show you this on the screen. If I go into, I see acoustic simulation 80. Actually, didn't we have the FX info? What did we run earlier? FX info, FX01. So let's run FX01 ASCII. We ran that earlier, and it's telling me that I've got acoustic simulation 82. Okay, so on off is on. 80 is the first value top. So if this is right, we've just modified effect 0 parameter 2, so this is parameter 2 82 here. So if we run this and we make this 50 value, hopefully you can follow what I'm trying to do here, / there, then it says something's happened, and if we then run this again, it's 50, see? And when I look on my display, it's 50. So now the third parameter, oh, I haven't changed that, but you get the idea. So I've used the software here to say, hey mate, would you take the first FX and change the second parameter as it was, yeah, so we did that here, and make it 50. Now, what I'd have to do is to look through the manual and read them in, create some sort of array, either a Python dictionary or JSON, to store the max values, and then use this to identify what parameters or what effect I've got and know that the max and min is there. The next thing would be to add breakout onto the GPIO, and that's quite easy to do on Python by the looks of it. So I either put some rotary encoders or some other sort of buttons in. And that's what I plan to do next. But so what I'm showing you at the moment is that there's a lot of information on the net about this stuff. I've discovered some stuff as well, which it doesn't look like other people have quite found, but I hopefully can collaborate with them and give them this information. And now it looks like I can control up to 8 or 9 parameters on the Zoom remotely. So here I'm using software to do it, but there's no reason now why the Raspberry Pi couldn't have physical tactile controls put into it and do what it wants. Yeah. So the recap is that you use amidi, you find out what your device for your Zoom is, okay, and there it is. You then I'll put the software somewhere on the net. You then write some scripts like editor on, so you have to turn the editor on. And then we've got an editor off, so let me vim the editor off, Control C, vim editor off. That's got to be 1 today, so we'll replace that to 1. So now what we'll do is we'll get the information again from the FX, and it comes back there. And again, sometimes it returns more information. I don't know why. Maybe because something's changed. If we now turn the editor off, then it stops responding, I think. Well, let's find out. I don't know. I think it stops responding. And I run that. Oh, it's still sending me information back. Okay, I don't know. Sometimes it seems to stop, other times it doesn't. So we can turn the editor on and off. We can turn the PC mode on. Why you want to do that, I don't know. I think I can put things into bypass. I haven't worked out how to change the effects yet, as in like modify the effect that's in there, but I'm getting there. So this is what I'm up to, and hopefully this is interesting, and yeah, more as I find it. Okay, thank you, bye.